Good afternoon. A few technicals to start, but I hope everyone is well. It's sunny afternoon, Sunday the 6th of June. And yeah, if you're new or you're watching on playback, my name is Mark. Giving a nod to D-Man who's tuned in. If you've got B in the background, well, good luck actually to the She's Got Skills collective, the tournament to take place today. If you're not playing, hope you can tune in and enjoy the stretch we're going to do today. So it's going to be a 4-minute flow. It'll go super fast as always. Again, just listen to your body and watch out for any injuries and do go at your own pace. But yeah, let's get cracking. We're going to start in child's pose today. So come down onto your mat with your knees apart, your feet together. Hola Lydia and Queen P. So you tuning in. Let's come down to our knees and start to walk the arms forward. Just bring your forehead down. If it doesn't touch the mat, it's all good. Maybe place a thick book or a tall block underneath your forehead if it's not reaching. And let's just find ourselves coming into stillness. We're slowing the heartbeat down. Maybe close your eyes here. Feel the ground beneath the palms of your hands and the back of your feet. Just by staying here, we're slowly finding a bit more space in our hips. So your belly touching your thighs as you inhale to draw breath in and your belly expands. And as you exhale, just let all the breath come out through the mouth. Just sigh it out. Take a deep inhale in through your nose and sigh it out through the mouth. Let's now come into our Ujjayi. So inhale in through the nose and exhale through the nose. And again, inhale in. Create that restriction in the back of the throat. Just close your mouth and exhale through the nose. Let's go for one more. Inhale in and exhale. When you inhale, let's all come up onto our hands and our knees as we meet in our tabletop. Place your right hand into the center of the mat and start by just open up through the shoulders. So take your left arm and start to take that left hand up towards the ceiling. Take your gaze up towards your hand as you open your body towards the left side of the room. When you wind it open, as if you're yawning first thing in the morning, and on the exhale, let's go, we'll thread the needle. So taking that left arm and threading it behind the right wrist. Let's come down onto the left shoulder. It might be easy if you start to shift your right hand over to the right side of the mat. Take your gaze over towards the right side. And stay here. For me, add a bit more stability. I like to lengthen out through my right leg, coming up high into those right toes. And as you do, if you're on this variation, feel as if you're pushing out through the back of your right heel, just to start to come into a stretch into the right hamstring as well. If your leg is out straight, see if you can also engage through your right quad. On your next breath, if you are in that extension of that right leg, drop down to your right knee. Let's press into the right hand to come back up. Together we meet again in our tabletop. Let's go for the other side. So we are placing our right hand into the center of the mat. Oops, no, we're not. Other side. Left hand into the center of the mat. And we're lifting our right arm up as high as it will go. Just go to your edge and just shine your body towards the right side of the room. Take a deep breath in to open up a bit further, and on the exhale, start to bring that right arm down as you thread that right arm behind the left wrist. Again, maybe if it's better for your balance, shift your left hand over towards the left side of the room. Come down to the right shoulder. Be careful not to take full weight into your head or your neck here. And again, if you want to level up or come into the legs, you might want to extend out for that left leg, coming high to left toes. Again, engage for your left quad. Push out through the back of the left heel as you start to just lengthen out through your left hamstring. Here for 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. On your next inhale, if your leg is out straight, drop onto that left knee. Press your left hand into the mat, and let's all meet again in our tabletop. From here, we're going to curl the toes under, press our hands to the mat, and come straight into our downward facing dog. So it's the first time we're really coming into the legs. Let you lengthen out the legs on thread the needle. So just take your time here to come into the pose. Just walk out with both your legs coming up high and each tiptoes before energetically drawing your heels back down towards the mat. You're just walking out through the legs. Come high on the toes, both together. And slowly just draw our heels down as close as we can towards the mat. As we do, press our hands into the mat, lengthen out through the arms. We're taking our gaze towards the back of the mat in between our legs. As we're holding it here for perhaps a few breaths longer than we normally do. Again, just be aware of your shoulders and start to soften into your shoulders. So you're not gripping and you're not hunched up in the upper back. And again, just holding it here helps us to find space and length in our legs. On the next breath together, let's come up high into our toes. And let's all step forward and meet at the front of the mat in our ragdoll. So have a slight bend in your knees and just sway your body from left to right. Just letting your torso be heavy, letting your head be heavy. And come into stillness. If we can, let's all take our arms behind our backs and take an interlace of the hands. And with the interlace of our hands just sitting on our lower back, let's take a deep inhale in and start to lengthen up through the back and just take the gaze beyond the front of the mat as if we're coming to a halfway lift, drawing through the navel. And on the exhale, start to lean the body forward again. As you do, see if you can start to raise your arms in interlace off your lower back. You start to find a stretch into the shoulders. So your gaze may be going in between your legs here now. And again, you just go into a place of comfort. You're not straining too hard with your arms coming up too high. Just creating a nice stretch in the upper back here. When you're ready, just release the arms back down. And slowly together, let's all wind up one vertebra at a time. As we come into a standing position, let the shoulders roll up and then let the head come up last. Space the palms forward as we stand in Tadasana, our mountain pose. Rolling the shoulders back and taking a gaze towards the front of whether you're in a room or in a field, in a garden. Just come to stillness for a couple of breaths. Feel the ground underneath your feet here. Take a deep breath in and sigh it all out. If your eyes are closed, blink your eyes open. On the inhale, let's take the arms up towards the ceiling. Take the prayer above our chest. On the exhale, we're going to bend in the hips and come down to our forward fold. Hands on the shins, roll the shoulders back for halfway lift. Exhale, release the arms down. On the next breath, inhale to come all the way back up. Exhale, hands to prayer at the center of our chest. And again, inhale to go up. Exhale to bend from the hips. Inhale to come into a halfway lift. Left up through the arms. This time, place the hands down at the front of the mat. We're going to step that left leg all the way back. Come up high into the toes at the back on the mats. When you feel stable, start to drop onto that left knee, uncurl the left toes, and get ready for our low lunge. So we're going to start to lift up the torso off the right thigh. Once you feel nice and grounded, your torso high, start to lean the body forward as you find a stretch coming to your left hip flexor. And let's take the arms up towards the ceiling. Our arms at either side of our ears here. We're here for 3 breaths. So on the inhale, see if we can breathe beyond the fingers, go a bit taller, your torso. And on the exhale, see if you can bend a bit deeper into that front knee. Again, inhale to lengthen. Exhale to soften. And one more. Inhale to lengthen. Take the navel towards the spine. And on the exhale, this time we're going to cartwheel the hands down towards the front of the mat. Start to shuffle that right foot forward. You want to create a bit more space. We'll come to a half split to come into our right hamstring. So let's start to walk the arms back. And as we do, we're going to lengthen out through that right leg and come up high onto that right heel. We're going to curl our toes in towards our face. And start to lean the body forward until we can start to feel the stretch coming to our right hamstring here. If you want to go a bit deeper, feel free to walk the arms forward and start to draw your chest a bit closer towards your shin. I'm going to hold it here for 3 breaths. So as you're inhaling, take the breath to the place where you feel the stretch. So again, hopefully it's coming into the right hamstring. You're going to go a bit deeper without moving the torso, without moving the arms. Engage through your right thigh, your right quad, so turn that on. By engaging that muscle, and that just helps to find a bit more space into our right hamstring. Our quad and our hamstrings acting opposite, so when one is engaged, the other tends to relax a bit more. On the next breath, start to bend into that knee. As you start to come forward, we're going to shuffle our right foot right over towards the outside of our right side of our mat. With both hands this time on the inside of our right foot. We're going to curl our left toes under and see if we can come up, lifting that leg off the mat. So we're high on the left toes, both feet are facing forward, both feet are facing 12 o'clock, and we're just rocking forwards and back on our toes here. As we go deeper into our right hips, and start to just bring your torso a bit closer towards the mat, but bend into the elbows. And when you're ready, drop back onto that left knee and curl the left toes. As we come to our lizard pose. So either stay high on the hands, if you've got a block handy, you can feel free to rest your forearms onto your block. We're holding it here for another 2 breaths. Another 1 breath. Slowly start to push back up. So both arms are straight. This time with our right foot, we're going to start to turn that right foot over towards 2 o'clock. So it's now pointing at a right angle. And then we're going to come up onto the outside edge of the right foot. So your foot is pointing out towards the right side of the room at 2 o'clock, or on that right edge. And again, our arms are on the inside of our right foot. Place the left hand on the outside of the left side of the mat, and then start to open up the right arm towards the ceiling. So as you do, as you come to that turning motion, you're dropping your left leg, your left thigh a bit closer towards the mat, and as you do, you're opening up through the right side of your body. So you're coming deep into the left hip flexor. And then start to come out. So bring that right arm back down. Place the right sole of the foot back down onto the mat. Coming up onto the left toes. Once again, we're going to lift up off that left knee. And then see if you can swing that right leg back. So lift that right leg all the way up and swing towards the back of the room. So the right leg meets the left, and we all meet in our high plank. Let's rock forwards back on the toes. Make sure our toes are still working. On our next rock forwards, for the first one, we're going to drop onto our knees, uncurl our toes, and press down as we come all the way towards the mat. We're going to keep our hands stacked underneath our shoulder blades here. See if you can tuck your elbows into the either side of our ribs. We're going to press our hands to the mat for a cobra, as opposed to an upward facing dog. So our chest is up off the mat. See if you can press the back of your feet into the mat. And on the exhale, come back down. Let's go for another cobra here. So on the inhale, press the hands into the mat. Taking the gaze towards the front of the room. Maybe your thighs and your knees start to lift up in the mat. And on the exhale, come back down. On the next breath, let's go for an upward facing dog. So we're going to lengthen out through both arms. And on the exhale, let's curl the toes under. And together, let's meet in our downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. And exhale out. Let's jump or step forwards. And together, we're going to meet at the front of our mat. Let's come into a halfway lift, hands to the shins, lengthen out through the arms. And on the exhale, fold forward. On the inhale, let's go all the way up towards the ceiling. Breathing beyond the fingers, really lengthen out through the body. And on the exhale, let's draw our prayer to the center of our chest. We're going to repeat that now on the other side. So on the inhale, going high with the prayer, taking our gaze towards our hands, and on the exhale, drawing our prayer through our chest. We're going to bend from hips as we come all the way down to our forward fold. Me and Uttanasana. I'm coming down for Uttanasana. Sorry. Hands on the shins, lengthen out the arms for halfway lift. Exhale, we're going to place our hands down at the front of the mat. This time we are stepping back with that right leg. So the right leg goes all the way back. You're stepping, the right toes are, you're high on your right toes at the back. For the first one, I'm going to drop down onto that right knee, uncurl the right toes. Once you feel balanced through the front of the body, start to lift the torso up. Off that left thigh. If you're nice and grounded through the left sole of the foot, and on the inhale, we're going to take our arms up either side of our ears as we come into our low lunge. So again, you're here for 3 breaths. On the inhale, we're going to lengthen up through the torso, and on the exhale, it's going to bend into that left knee. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to bend. So this time we're finding a space into our right hip flexor. One more, inhale to lengthen, drawing our navel in, exhale to soften. On our next breath, we are going to start to bring our arms down. So hands go either side of our leg. Start to shuffle that left foot forward, just to find a bit more space. And we're going to walk that body back. I'm going to come up high into the left heel. And again, curl the left toes in towards the face as we all meet in our half splits. So again, this time we're finding space and the stretch into our left hamstring. So on the inhale, I'm going to lengthen out through the back. And exhale, just walk the hands forward. Just to the point where you can go deep enough that you start to really feel that stretch come to that left hamstring. So we're going to be here for another 3 breaths. So feel free to really take ownership of your practice at this point. Just feel into your body. See whether going forwards or shining your chest a bit closer towards your shin helps you find a bit more space. Again, maybe you want to engage through your left thigh. So just switch that on, drawing a muscle away from the knee. And again, because the act's opposite, you're finding a bit more space by doing so into your left hamstring. Here for one more breath. And on the exhale, start to come up with the torso. You're going to bend again into that left knee. Let's start to shuffle that left foot over towards the outside, the left side of the mat. We're taking both hands so they sit inside of that left foot now. Let's curl the right toes under and start to lift that knee off the mat. And we're just rocking forwards and back through the right toes. We're long in that right leg. Just finding a bit more space before we come down for our lizard. So when you're ready, start to drop into that right knee and curl the right toes. Start to bring your chest a bit closer towards the mat here. Again, if you've got a block handy or a thick book, maybe place your forearms onto that. If your forearms aren't quite reaching the mat, mine certainly don't. I'm going to hold it here for another 3 breaths. So here you'll find a space in your right hip flexor. Maybe also your left hip. Just see where you're feeling the stretch. And again, just take the inhale, take the oxygen to that area. One more breath. And on the exhale, let's together start to come up. Remove any blocks, any obstacles. So as we did on the other side, let's start to turn our left foot so it's pointing out towards, what's that? That must be 10 o'clock. We're looking at a clock, and then we're coming up onto the outside edge of the left foot this time. We're going to take our right hand right onto the outside of the right side of the mat. And on the inhale, I'm going to start to open up the body and start to drop the right hip a bit closer towards the mat. So go deeper into our right hip flexor. You can hold it there, or maybe you want to place your left hand on the inside of the left thigh and just start to use a bit of resistance just to open up and go a bit deeper into the stretch here. The left arm doesn't have to be fully extended. Again, you just listen to your body here. Ooh, all right. And on the next breath, Let's start to bring the left sole of the foot back down. Point it forwards once again. Both hands are inside of the left foot. We're going to get ready to curl the right toes under. Lift up off that right knee. And when you're ready, we're going to swing that left leg all the way back so we meet in our high plank. So rock forwards, back on the toes. On the next rock forwards, we're going to bend into the elbows for a low plank. Feel free to come down onto the knees, curl the toes as we press our hands to the mat for our upward facing dog. Take a deep breath in as we soften through the shoulders. And on the exhale, start to lift up through your tailbone, curl the toes under. And together we meet in our downward facing dog. Let's take a deep breath in. And exhale out. And again, deep breath in. And exhale. On the next breath, we're going to start to this time walk the hands back. So taking the opposite this time. So walking the hands back to meet the feet. And from here, we're going to take the two-piece fingers and wrap our two-piece fingers just underneath our big toes until they meet the thumb. So I'm going for a big toe grab here. So on the next inhale, feel free to, if you're not quite reaching your toes here, just bend into your knees as much as possible until you've got the grip. We're placing our elbows on the outside of our knees. On the inhale, holding the grip, we're going to take our gaze just towards the front of the mat to come to a halfway lift. And on the exhale, release the gaze back down towards the mat. You start to bring your gaze towards the back of the room in between your legs. Use the resistance of gripping your big toes. See if you can start to lengthen out through your legs. Again, it's a lovely stretch for the back of the legs. Take one more breath in. Deep inhale in. And exhale. On your next breath, let's soften to release. Let's start to slowly wind up, again, one vertebra at a time. So our feet are hip distance apart. We're going to take one step forward with the right foot towards the outside edge of the right side of the mat. So imagine as if your feet are on train tracks. Maybe just point the left foot out slightly, so it's pointing out towards, let's say 11 o'clock. When I come into pyramid pose. So getting you nice and tall through the torso. See if you can take opposite hands to opposite elbows. Something like that. If it's not quite reaching, just place your hands on your hips. And on an inhale, start to shine the chest up towards the ceiling. And on an exhale, if your hands are on your hips, feel as if you're bending directly from the hips. As we're coming down the torso. Try and keep your back nice and straight to help us go a bit deep into the right hamstring. So again, you're just going to the point where you can start to feel the stretch and the pull into the right hamstring. With your right foot, again, curl your toes in towards your face. Whilst on a mat, so your leg is engaged. I'm going to go deeper. You're not shining your chest. You're trying to avoid shining your chest over towards the left side of the mat. If you're shining your chest a bit more towards center or off center towards the right, you find you'll go a bit more deep into your right hamstring. So whilst we're going for flow, I've tried to incorporate some hamstring stretches today, especially if you've got any injuries. If you've gone in on any runs recently. I did a cycle this morning, so maybe I'm being a little bit selfish by stretching out through the hamstring. When you're ready, Just soften and bend into that right knee. Start to come up. Let's take our right leg back and let's just switch and take the opposite side. So again, we start with our feet hip distance apart. And then we're going to step forward with that left foot, sorry, this time. And that left foot is placing it at the outside edge of the left side of the mat. We're pointing our right foot out towards probably 1 o'clock on the mat. Again, taking your hands to your hips, facing the hips forward, or maybe take opposite hands to opposite elbows. On inhale, take a deep breath in. Take a small back bend here. And on exhale, start to bend from the hips. If you need to take a slight bend into that left knee, then please do go for it. Bending from the hips, coming down until you get to the point where you're feeling the stretch into your left hamstring. When you find it, just see if you can hold that posture. You're holding the posture, but you're not holding your breath. Please do remember to breathe. You're taking that inhale in through the nose and exhale through the nose. Maintaining an ujjayi breathing here. On the next breath, just bend a little bit into that left knee, just to come out of that. Let the arms be heavy. As you start to lift up through the torso. Together, let's all step forwards towards the front of the mat. On the inhale, let's take the arms up towards the ceiling. Nice and long through the body. On the exhale, take the prayer through the chest as we bend from hips, as we come down into our forward fold, our Uttanasana. Hands on the shins, lengthen out the arms for halfway lift. On the exhale, place our hands down at the front of the mat. Bend into the knees. We're going to step forward on the left foot. Sorry, step back with the left foot, step back with the right foot as we meet in our high plank. Let's come down for a quick forearm plank. Why not? That's why I was pausing. Shall we or shan't we? So let's come down to the right forearm and come down onto the left forearm. If this is a little bit challenging, again, feel free to drop onto your knees. Otherwise, we're here for another 5. See if you can walk forward on your toes. 4, 3, 2, 1. And if it's there for you, just come up onto that left hand and up onto that right hand as we once again meet in our high plank. Let's walk forwards onto the toes, bend into elbows for a low plank, press through the toes as we come up for our upward facing dog. And on the exhale, curl the toes under. As together we once again meet in our downward facing dog. Let's take a deep breath in and exhale out. Just shake out through the head. On the next inhale, let's come high into the toes and just jump or step forward towards the front of the mat. We're going to come up high into the toes, lifting up through the heels as we start to bring our bums towards the heels. And when you're ready, let's sit back onto our bum as we lengthen out through our legs. And just start to shake out through the legs. Maybe taking our hands into a little fist. And just gently tapping through our thighs, the side of our legs, side of our thighs. Just gently tapping underneath our knees and our calves. See how far you can stretch forwards. And let's get ready for our forward bend. We're going to start by, let's take our legs into tree pose. So we're taking the right sole of the foot and placing it on the inside of our left shin. On the in, I'm going to sit nice and tall. Take our gaze up towards the ceiling. Take our arms up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, drawing through your lower belly to create a bit of space. Start to shine your chest forward. If it's there for you, to take your hands either side of your thigh to use that grip to help you shine your chest a bit forward and go for it. Alternatively, you can grab the outside of your calves to help you shine your chest forward and take that grip. Or if you're able to reach that left foot, then take your hands onto the underside of your left foot. We're not just dropping the head down. We're aiming to see if we can shine our chest forward as we curl our toes in towards our face. Again, we're finding space into our left hamstring here. If you've got a rope handy, maybe for your morning gown, if you want to practice one in your spare time, you can just use the morning gown rope to loop under the underside of the left sole of the foot, and that will just help you come a bit more deeper into this stretch. Again, if you're nursing any injuries to the hamstrings, this is one that you can probably hold for a bit longer. The longer you hold it, you find you're just softening deeper and deeper into the muscle as it relaxes. Let's all come up. So on the inhale, we're coming up. Let's take our left arm up towards the ceiling. Our right arm sits behind us. We're taking our left hand onto the outside or onto the top of the right knee and come into a twist. So on the in, I'm going to sit up nice and tall. Our chin is keeping at the center of our chest, but on the exhale, we're twisting from the lower belly. So inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. That's not twisting the head. Just try and maintain integrity of the pose by keeping the chin above the center of the chest. For one more twist. And then let's release out. Place your arms back. Again, just shake out through your legs. Let's switch sides. So this time, we're taking our left sole of the foot and placing it on the inside of the right thigh. On the inhale, we're going to sit nice and tall, shining our arms up towards the ceiling, taking our gaze up towards the sky. And on the exhale, we're going to come into that forward fold. So again, choose your grip, whether you're taking the grip to the right thigh, the right calf. I'm a lot tighter on this side, so stretching and reaching the toes is a bit more tricky. But choose that grip that suits you today. And start to come into that forward bend. Remember to curl your right toes in towards your face. And as you do, again, it'll just help you go a bit deeper into that right hamstring. Engage through your right quad, so draw that muscle away for that knee to again just find a bit more space to come into that bend. On next breath, let's soften to release and come up. On the inhale, let's take that right arm up towards the ceiling. Our left hand sits behind us. We're placing our right hand on the top of the left knee. We're coming to a twist. On the inhale, we're sitting up nice and tall. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. Inhale to lengthen up. Exhale to twist. Let's go for one more. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. And let's soften to release. Let's take our legs out towards the front once again. Let's give them one final shake. And let's start to come down of our back. And as we do, before we hit the mat, maybe we can lift our toes, our heels off the mat, and we're going to meet in our low boat. Cheek yourself out before we finish. Just take your gaze towards your toes, maybe fan them out, play with your toes so that they're engaged. And on the next breath, let's come up for our high boat. Feel free to take the underside of your hamstrings here. So you can take your legs, your shins, so they're parallel with the mat. Just roll the shoulders back. I'm going to hold it here for count of 5. If you can, release the grip. Take your arms either side of your legs for count of 4. Then go for it. Count of 3, 2, 1. And let's come down again for our low boat. This time I'm going to point out through the toes and start going swimming. So start to swim out through the legs for count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. So releasing the back down towards the mat, long in the legs. Before we wrap, we're going to go for a supine twist. So on the inhale, let's draw in through that left knee, bringing that left knee towards the chest, taking that grip around the left shin. Let's release that left hand down. With the right hand around the front of the left knee, start to guide it over towards the left side of the room. At a right angle. Again, don't worry if your knee doesn't reach the floor, but do use your right hand on the outside of the left knee, just for a bit of gentle resistance, not to force the knee down, but just to play with, see if you find any more space. Take your gaze over towards the left side of the room. So twisting it from the lower back. One reason why I like finishing with this pose, it's just by being in a twist as we together start to bring that left knee back up. As we release the twist, we get a flow of blood to our digestive systems, which helps just oxygenate that part of the body. Let's release that left leg back out and switch and take the other side. So on the next inhale, let's draw that right knee in towards our chest. Take a nice hug in. And release that right arm down. The left hand, just guide that that right knee over towards the left side of the room. Again, you're not competing with yourself to try and bring that right knee all the way down. Just go towards your edge. Take your gaze over towards the right side of the room. On the next inhale, let's release a twist. Take one final hug into that right knee. Let's lengthen out through both legs. Our arms at either side of the body. As we get ready for Shavasana, just close your eyes. Just come back into your natural breath. Remove any obstacles from near you. Let your feet just flop out. And relax. Start to find movement in your hands and your feet. On the next breath, just draw the knees into the chest for hugging. When you're ready, rock up, and together let's meet in a seated position. Just come onto your bum with your legs crossed. Maybe come onto your knees. Just take your hands into your lap, just wherever's comfortable. Or hands into place at your chest. Just close your eyes, and as always, just reaching out to the Sunday community. Thank you for rocking up, for being present, for training with and practicing with one another, and wishing everyone an amazing week ahead, and may the sun continue to shine. Thank you. Take care. Done and dusted. Thank you, team. I did a longer shavasana today. Hope that was all right. Hope there weren't any kiddies distracting you. Yeah, I wanted to keep it a bit different today. So a bit more chilled, but hopefully it still worked for you guys. What we're going to do next week, so do let me know. It can't be abs because I find it difficult to talk during abs. That's extra punishment for myself. So yeah, let me know what you like to practice. I did try and do a bit more hamstrings today. Again, that might have been a bit selfish of me, having just been out this morning. But yeah, on the flow, let me know if you like them slower or faster. I just wanted to mix up a little bit. But in the meantime, yeah, have a great week. Thank you as always. You guys are rocking in. Lydia, thanks for your feedback. Weekly reminder, the mats are coming, D-Man. Yeah, I'm going to make you my business development director, I think, or head of sales. You are truly keeping me on it. But no, thank you, Naomi. Thank you for tuning in. But yeah, have a great week, everyone. Hit the like, subscribe if you haven't already. Otherwise, I will see you next week, Sunday. Take care and have a blessed week. I'll keep the chat going for another 30 seconds or so.